The Inchcape Rock by Robert Southey, 1774 to 1843. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea, the ship was still as she could be. Her sails from heaven received no motion, her keel was steady in the ocean. Without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. So little they rose, so little they fell, they did not move the Inchcape Bell. The worthy Abbot of Aberbrothok had placed that bell on the Inchcape Rock. On a buoy in the storm it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rung. When the rock was hid by the surge's swell, the mariners heard the warning bell, and then they knew the perilous rock, and blessed the Abbot of Aberbrothok. The sun in heaven was shining gay, all things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled around, and there was a joyance in their sound. The buoy of the Inchcape Bell was seen, a darker speck on the ocean green. Sir Ralph the Rover walked his deck, and fixed his eye on the darker speck. He felt the cheering power of spring, it made him whistle, it made him sing. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the rover's mirth was wickedness. His eye was on the Inchcape float, quoth he, "My men, put out the boat, and row me to the Inchcape Rock, and I'll plague the Abbot of Aberbrothok." The boat is lowered, the boatmen row, and to the Inchcape Rock they go. Sir Ralph bent over from the boat, and he cut the bell from the Inchcape float. Down sank the bell with a gurgling sound, the bubbles rose and burst around. Quoth Sir Ralph, "The next who comes to the rock won't bless the Abbot of Aberbrothok." Sir Ralph the Rover sailed away, he scoured the seas for many a day, and now grown rich with plundered store, he steers his course for Scotland's shore. So thick a haze o'erspreads the sky, they cannot see the sun on high. The wind hath blown a gale all day, at evening it hath died away. On the deck of the Rover takes his stand, so dark it is they see no land. Quoth Sir Ralph, "It will be lighter soon, for there is the dawn of the rising moon." "Canst hear," said one, "the breakers roar? For methinks we should be near the shore." Now where we are I cannot tell, but I wish we could hear the Inchcape Bell. They hear no sound, the swell is strong, though the wind hath fallen they drift along, till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. O Christ, it is the Inchcape Rock. Sir Ralph the Rover tore his hair, he cursed himself in his despair. The waves rush in on every side, the ship is sinking beneath the tide. But even is his dying fear, one dreadful sound could the Rover hear, a sound as if with the Inchcape Bell the devil below was ringing his knell. Okay, this is the Inchcape Rock by Robert Southey. Let's see, Robert Southey was, he's an English poet. He was born in Bristol. He went to Balliol College, Oxford. He was one of the founders of the Romantic movement. He was a good friend of William Wordsworth. Let's see. He became the poet laureate, and he held the position of poet laureate for nearly for about 30 years. Now, this poem, the Inchcape Rock, this is a narrative poem, as you've realised, and it's about Sir Ralph the Rover. Sir Ralph the Rover is a pirate, and he cuts the bell off the Inchcape Rock. The bell is there to warn the ships that there are rocks there, and this bell was put there by the Abbot of Aberbrothok. We don't know why Sir Ralph has such bad feeling against the Abbot of Aberbrothok, but maybe because the abbot is a good man and the Sir Ralph, the poet, is a bad man. Anyway, this poem it's about poetic justice. It's a cautionary tale, and it's saying that if you tamper with things and with the idea of hurting people, then you will eventually receive your comeuppance, that you will be punished for this. There will be divine punishment, and that's what happens eventually. The Sir Ralph crashes with the Inchcape Rock. So let's see the poem. It's reasonably easy. It tells a story. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea. The ship was still as she could be. So clearly the ship is in the doldrums. There's no wind. There's the sea's not flowing. Everything is still. Her sails from heaven received no motion. Her keel was steady in the ocean. So there was just no wind, and the sea was as calm as a mill pond. It was flat. Without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. So that we have the Inchcape Rock, and the waves, they're flowing, but they flow over the rock. They don't bang against it, because the sea is so calm. So little they rose, so little they fell. They did not move the Inchcape Bell. So it was so calm that the warning bell by the Inchcape Rock, it didn't ring. The worthy Abbot of Aberbrothok had placed that bell on the Inchcape Rock. So the abbot had put that there to warn people, to help save lives. And on a buoy in the storm it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rung. So the bell was on a buoy. A buoy is something that floats, and this is probably it's chained to the bottom or chained to an anchor, and it stays there, and when the waves move it, the bell rings, ding ding ding, and like that you know that the Inchcape Rock is close. When the rock was hid by the surge's swell, the mariners heard the warning bell. So when the rock was hidden by the waves, by the movement of the sea, the mariners could still hear the bell. And then they knew the perilous rock, and blessed the Abbot of Aberbrothok. And like that they knew the rock was close, and they blessed the abbot. Thank you, dear Abbot, for looking after us. The sun in the heaven was shining gay. All things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled around, and there was joyance in their sound. So it was a lovely sunny day. Everything was happy. The seabirds were moving around, screaming, "Quack!" And there was joyance, there was happiness in the sound of the birds, so everything was happy. The buoy of the Inchcape Bell was seen, a darker speck on the ocean green. Sir Ralph the Rover walked his deck and fixed his eye on the darker speck. So in the distance you could see the Inchcape Bell, and this was a dot, a speck, a darker speck on the green ocean. And Sir Ralph the pirate, Sir Ralph the Rover, he walked on his deck and he was looking at this little speck of the Inchcape Bell. He felt the cheering power of spring. It made him whistle, it made him sing. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the Rover's mirth was wickedness. So it was spring and he felt good. He had a spring in his step. He was happy, he was singing because it was the spring season. And his heart was full of happiness and mirth. But the problem was that the Rover's mirth was wicked, was evil. His eye was on the Inchcape float. Quoth he, my men, put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape Rock, and I'll plague the Abbot of Aberbrothok. So he was looking at the Inchcape Bell, the Inchcape buoy, and he said, put out the longboat. So you wouldn't take the big boat in there, you take a small boat and they would row. And and he's telling them to row him to the Inchcape Rock. And then I'll do something bad to the Abbot of Aberbrothok. Well, really it's doing bad to the sailors, but it's maybe decreasing his reputation, it's reducing his reputation. So clearly he's this guy is a bit of a sociopath or a psychopath. The boat is lowered, the boatmen row, and to the Inchcape Rock they go. So they put the boat in the sea and off they go to the Inchcape Rock. Sir Ralph bent over from the rock and he cut the bell from the Inchcape float. So he cut the bell off so nobody can hear it anymore. And this, to me, effectively is murder, because the ships that then go aground on the rock, people are going to die. Down sank the bell with a gurgling sound. The bubbles rose and burst around, and bubbles came up from it. Quoth Sir Ralph, said Sir Ralph said, the next who comes to the rock won't bless the Abbot of Aberbrothok. So the next person who comes won't say, thank you, Abbot, thank you, you're so kind. So his aim is hurting the Abbot's reputation. Sir Ralph the Rover sailed away, he scoured the seas for many a day. So he sails off and he goes round all of the seas looking for victims to steal their things. And now grown rich with plundered store, he steers his course for Scotland's shore. And now his boat was carrying lots of plunder, lots of stolen treasure from all of these ships. And he steers his course, he goes in the direction of the shore of Scotland. So thick a haze o'erspreads the sky, they cannot see the sun on high. So there's a thick haze, it's foggy, and they cannot see the sun, because there's such a thick mist, such a thick sea fog. The wind hath blown a gale all day, at evening it hath died away. So there was a storm blowing, there were high winds all day, and in the evening the wind had died down. On the deck the Rover takes his stand, so dark it is they see no land. So the Rover, Ralph the Rover, is standing on his deck, but it's so dark that they can't see the land, they can't see where they are. Quoth Sir Ralph, it will be lighter soon, for there is the dawn of the rising moon. So he says soon it will be less dark, because the moon will come up and then we will be able to see something. There will be a little bit more light soon. Canst hear, said one, The breakers roar. So can you hear the waves breaking on the beach? The roar, of the breakers breaking on the beach. Can you hear them? For methinks we should be near the shore, because methinks we're near the shore. Now where we are I cannot tell. I can't tell you exactly where we are, but I wish we could hear the Inchcape Bell. So they can't hear the bell because Sir Ralph cut it off. They hear no sound, the swell is strong, so they can't hear anything, and the waves are strong. Though the wind hath fallen, they drift along. So the wind has decreased, but they are drifting with the movement of the sea. Till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. O Christ, it is the Inchcape Rock. And then the vessel is moving, and suddenly it shivers with the shock of a crash, and they crash into the Inchcape Rock. Sir Ralph the Rover tore his hair. He pulled out his hair. He cursed himself in his despair. So he was cursing himself. He was saying bad things about himself. And the waves rush in on every side. The ship is sinking beneath the tide. So the water's coming up, the water's coming in, and the ship is sinking. But even is his dying fear, one dreadful sound could the Rover hear. So he's terrified he's going to die, and he knows he's going to die, but he can only hear one sound. A sound as if with the Inchcape Bell the devil below was ringing his knell. So a knell is the bell that rings for the dead when there's a funeral. Dung, 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 dung. A knell is a bell ringing for the dead. And the sound that the Rover can hear, it's as if the devil has taken the Inchcape Bell and he's ringing the death knell. He's ringing the death of Sir Ralph the Rover. So here we have divine retribution, that he's behaved badly, and finally it's come back on him. I think it talks about the consequences of human action, the importance of the foresight of the abbot, the contrast between vice and virtue, between good and evil, and Sir Ralph is evil and the abbot is good. And the idea of divine retribution, that his act of removing the bell leads to his own shipwreck in the very same place. And clearly this is evil, and the devil is ringing, bringing him down. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. The Inchcape Rock by Robert Southey.